Hi there, it's Karen here. Welcome back. I'm working on the 50 stack challenge today, and we're doing the next two prompts on my list. As I've said before, I am running a couple of weeks behind Amy drawing the prompts, but that's not a problem. I'm just chugging along, doing it in my own time, on a Monday, but just a couple of weeks behind her. So I've already seen her draw the prompts 15 and 16, I think she drew today, but I'm working on prompts 13 and 14. Oh no, I'm not. That 13 and 14 was the one she drew today. I'm working on 11 and 12. So I've got them all written down, and I'm just trying to keep them in order. So the first one today, number 11, is cracked. And I've decided that for these two prompts this week, not always going to be the same. Like last week I did two Christmas ones. This week I'm going to do two autumn ones. Sometimes I'll do one of each, depending on how the prompt kind of triggers my imagination, really. So I am going to be working on the cards, on the journal cards, from the cover. I know I'm not going to do that all the time, but I think what it does, having the prompts, gives me a bit of a boost to my imagination, makes my creative juices flow a little bit. So I'm not just covering the cards in paper, and that could be a little bit samey. So it just makes me think a little bit more and try and get a bit more creative with how I decorate these cards, these journal cards. So this is the card from this pocket here. So I have to bear in mind that bit's sticking out, so I want the colours at the top to kind of be a nice contrast. So I've picked out some paper for that. So let's work on that first. And I am just loving doing these prompts. I really am. They're really really sparking my creativity, I think, or my creative imagination. And I hope you enjoy what I've come up with. So for this prompt, cracked, I want to use a stamp. I had a, there's not many things that I had. I don't think I've got any papers that look cracked. But I do have a stamp that's called, it's a 49er Market stamp, or stamp set I suppose it would be, called Gabby's Crackle Texture Paste. No, texture set, it's not texture paste. I don't have crackle paste or anything. So there are various types of crackly textures here. And I had intended originally to use this one, which is it's a bit like, I don't know, Crazy Crackle, Crazy Paste. More of a crackle, I suppose, but I decided that for cracked I would use this one because it looks like cracked stone to me. Looks like how a stone, if you had a stone wall or a stone wall, I said wall twice, didn't I? Anyway, something cracked. So that's what I'm going to go with after all. So I've already got that ready on my block. Put these aside. Just try and keep my space, as clear as possible. Try not to throw my stamp on the floor. And so I wanted to pull out some papers that would kind of work a bit wally. Wally, is that even a word? So I have this, but also in keeping with the theme. So I've got this piece of paper. I can't remember where this came from now. It's just a scrap I had, and I rather liked it. What I thought I'd do is originally it was like this, and I've torn it so it looks like it's cracked. That's the idea, is that I'm going to put this paper on here and it's going to be kind of cracked down the middle, and then that's where the stamping's going to go. But I'm also going to have a piece going across the top because I wanted a nice contrasting colour to where the pocket is. So I've got this piece, which is from one of the Medieval Mirage Moroccan kit. Sun's just come out. It often does that when I sit in here, so it makes the desk a bit bright. I don't know how bright that's going to be on camera. If it feels too bright, I'll pull the blind down a little bit. So I've done the same with this. I want this to go across the top here, just across this tab. So I think this colour looks great popping out from the spot where it is, and I want to kind of line that up in some way, so that the crackling, or the crack continues right up to the top, but with a bit extra colour. That's my idea. So I think that's what I'm going to do. These papers will need cutting down, but I thought I'd just start off with them like that. I'm just going to cut off this white bit at the top in case it ends up showing. And so I think I'll probably put that about here. Pull it over a bit. So the crackly bit, or where it breaks was torn. It kind of mirrors, it sort of matches. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not explaining myself very well. But I'm going to start off by just inking along the edge of the cracks. That's what I'll do first. So, like that. And this piece. Obviously I'm only going to use part of it, but I thought rather than, I'll work it out as I go. And then this piece, I'll link it along there. I'm not going to make it as deep as that, but I'll kind of do it kind of like that. Not sure yet. When it's glued on, it'll probably make a bit more sense, because what I'll do is I'll then stamp over it afterwards. So we get the cracks going slightly onto the paper as well as in the gap. There we go. So that's the plan. Let's see how it works out, shall we? I like a plan. It may not always quite end up the way I think it's going to, but it's always good to have a starting point, especially with something like this. I'm not good at just winging it and making it up as I go along. So I'm just going to give myself enough glue. Right. So I want this to come up as far as the edge of this bit here. So a little bit further over. Let's see how far over this one wants to go. I want a fair bit of space in between, just to make sure that the cracked part, that's not straight, has enough room. Do I want all the writing on the bottom? I don't know if it matters too much. I might just bring it down just a little bit more. Okay, we'll do it there. I'm going to be doing a bit of decorating on here anyway. And then I'm going to do that there, kind of there. And across. I want this further across. Sorry. Oh no, too late. Too late. So the trouble with the not really getting it completely ready. It doesn't always go quite as you hoped. But I think it'll be fine. What have I got here? Yes. Okay. So I don't want a huge gap in between. It's a crack, not a chasm. So I want that to kind of line up there. There we are. So we have our crack. Oh, I've got my... that bit's just... It's hardly got any room to go, is it? Oh, that's a shame. Is that going to work? I think it will work just about, but I had really intended that this should be further. I should have more room over. It would be more over here. I don't think I can get it off now. No, I can't. Oh well, I'm going to work with how it is. Just work with how it is. It's not how I planned, but never mind. Let's just go with it. I really wanted to have that lined up there. No, it's not going to work like that. I need to line it up kind of there, which means I've got a gap here now, haven't I? I'll have to do something with that. Best laid plans and all that. I'm going to just put the glue on here, I think. Okay. Maybe have a bit more cracking up here, eh? Maybe that will be okay. Right, so now I just want to trim this off. Right, so yeah, kind of trimmed off. Now I need to do my bit of stamping. I'll just do it on this book, the book page, because I'm going to be going off the edges. So, got my stamp. I'm going to use my pine cone to do this. So let's see how this looks. And I don't think I want the whole stamp because it's quite wide, wider than I need really. So I'm going to do a bit of that. Going to do a little bit on this corner here. Oh, missed the corner. Did it on the book instead. Okay, got a bit of cracking going on there. And down there. Down there. So that looks decidedly cracked, doesn't it? Okay, so we've done that, and I think we've covered up this awkward corner. Okay, I wish I'd torn this now. Should have torn that and that would have looked a bit better. But hey ho. Maybe I'll put something over there, I'm not sure really. Anyway, let's decorate this up a bit and see what we can do. So I wanted to put something in this corner that was got less room than I thought I'd have because of the way I've done it. So I've pulled out a few of the fussy cuts from the Tracy Fox kit. I've got a big leaf here, and this is a stamp that I think came in a, I don't know, Your Creative Studio set, so I could put that there. Maybe I could have something going on the other side. Maybe down there. Kind of like the sunflowers. Got that there, I don't want that, that's not going to work. There's the sunflowers or there's pumpkins, but then I'd have to probably need to cut that off a little bit to get them on. Or I could take them right up to there. Maybe that would kind of help with that awkward corner a bit. Not sure. Don't want to completely cover it because obviously we've got a bit of cracked things going on. Do I need any? I feel like I need something else here. I'm going to take off a bit of this white first because it's a bit too much, and then I'll ink it. So I've got a bit of that, bit of leaf. I pulled in some older fussy cups from the Autumn Wonder kit because I thought there might be some small labels or something I could use. Something like that. Those. This is a tab. Got a couple of little pieces here. Got this another little stamp. This is kind of a stamp sticker. So I could put that there. Maybe have this little one underneath. Or I've got this, which might work because of the yellow. So I'm going to see. So I've got to decide really on what I put on this side. So it's either going to be that. Well, this was just a bit smaller. I'm not sure about the colours on here though, really. Oh, we've got the pumpkins, which I do quite like. I kind of like that. I think it goes better colour-wise somehow. I'm just going to have to trim this off. Let's just ink it up a little bit. If we do that, does much of it goes over the crack a little, like that. Yeah, I think so. And I've actually got a label that says Fall Harvest, which I think might work quite well because it looks like the harvest, doesn't it? So I might use that. Just cut that out. And that can just go here somewhere. Okay, let's do that. I think I quite like this yellow label here. Just because I think it just kind of pops and it brings the other colours in. So let's do that. Okay, we're going to put this leaf on first. right on the edge here. Just coming off the edge a little bit. More at an angle. That's better. And then we can put this one on. I'm wondering whether I just need to trim it a touch. It's quite a big label, but I really like the colour on this. Just going to take it down a fraction. Okay. And we'll put that one there. I think that works. Maybe up just a little bit. And then we can put our little squirrel stamp there. It is a sticker, I believe. Yep. How sticky are we? I'll put a little extra glue on just to be on the safe side. A little squirrel. And then we'll glue most of this on, but not quite going to get it all on. But that's okay. They're quite big, some of these fussy cuts, even though I have printed, using my Cricut, I managed to make some of them a bit smaller, but they're still quite big. So I'm kind of covering up a bit where that didn't work out as well as I'd hoped. But you can always cover these things up and make a virtue out of a mistake, can't you? Right, so I'm going to trim that off. And this one. And we've got that. Oh, that's coming up there. I'm just going to glue that back down. I'm going to round the corners at the bottom. So I'll grab a bit of... Yeah. Sticking out a little bit. Let's just round these bottom corners. Oh, I've got to put on my little label here. There we go. There we go. And that's our journal card. Oh, I'm just going to ink around that. I'm going to ink around that with the Scorched Timber. And we'll put that in the book and see how it looks. Shall we do a little bit of cracking on the back here, shall we? Some extra cracks. I'm just going to ink this up. Okay, just a bit of cracking on the back. And there we are. So I'll put it away and put it in the pocket. And move on to the next prompt. I'll put that in here. This belongs up here. So I'll just show you that so you can see it properly. I'm happy with how that's turned out in the end. Bit of cracked wall. There we go. And you've got this nice contrast between the colours. Yep, happy with that. And what we're going to do is next is the big card that belongs in this pocket here. So I'll just clear these bits away and then we'll come back and do that one. Right, so prompt number 12 is wallpaper. So that kind of made me think a little bit, what do I have? Do I have any wallpaper that I can use for either the Christmas or for this journal? And I couldn't think of anything that I had, and then I kind of thought, well, what have we used for wallpaper in the house? You know, if I got anything that might work. And one of our rooms downstairs, we do have one wall wallpapered with this kind of textured burnt orangey colour, and I thought, well, maybe that would work for the autumn. So I asked my husband to see if we had any left, because it was a couple of years since we actually decorated that room, and we did. He found this little roll of it. It's actually far more than I'm going to need, obviously, but it was perfect colour. I thought it went brilliantly with everything else. So then I thought, well, what do I do with it? I don't want to just stick a bit of paper on the card and leave it at that, because that would kind of be a bit boring, really, wouldn't it? If I just stuck a bit of paper on. So I thought, well, what can I do with it? So I decided to try doing some die cutting, because I had this new die, leaf die, that I hadn't used, and I've been meaning to make some leaves out of it. So I thought, well, maybe I'll have a go with the wallpaper to see how that would come out. And actually came out pretty well. So I have got a whole bunch of leaves here from the wallpaper, and I did also do some in other colours, some other cardstock, just to kind of mix it up a bit. So I won't use them all, of course, but I'll use them elsewhere, I think, in the journal. So I've got my leaves, and then I had the piece of wallpaper left that I'd used, because it was like a single sheet of dies, and it came out like this. Once I'd obviously taken out all the leaves, I had this left, and I nearly threw it away, and I thought, hang on, that would make a really cool stencil for the background, wouldn't it? So that's where I'm going to start, I think. I might just trim this off a bit. It's curled up a little bit here, which is going to stop it lying flat, I think. Might just take that off. And then let's just do a light stenciling in the background, just to give ourselves a bit of a base. And then I'm going to do something with the leaves. And I thought, well, I'll use this nice big one, nice big card, because I've got lots of leaves and lots of things I'd like to do. I've probably got far more actually pulled out than I'm going to need. So let's just pop that like that. Let's just get this in position so we get as much of the leaves as we can. And I'm going to use a bit of washi tape to keep it in place, and then I'll move it down and do some at the bottom. So we've got just a little bit of stenciling all over. Because I have that other leaf stencil that I used. Oh dear, this is all just tearing. I do have that other leaf stencil that I used for when I was putting the signatures together, but this is just a little bit different. And it's using the wallpaper in another way, isn't it? Now I've been using this quite a lot, and now it's suddenly decided to tear on me. Can't even see where the end is now. Oh, there it is. I'll just put a little bit more washi tape just to hold it in place, because it's going to be a bit thin. It's not like proper stencil, so I'm hoping it'll work. But we will see. Sometimes it's good to try things, even if they don't always work. Things don't always work, but that's what it's all about, giving it a try. And I'm just going to, if I can get this to tear, just put another little piece at the bottom, I think, because it's going to might lift here. Okay, let's try it, shall we? I'm just going to do vintage photo because I just want a little light background. So I don't want it to be jarring with all the bright colours of the leaves. Just to give it a little softness. In fact, probably where the leaves are, it'll hardly show anyway, but I just wanted to try it. So obviously be gaps in between. Okay, yeah, we've got a stencil. It kind of works. And I'm going to move it over so that we get some of the ones from this side that we didn't get much of, or any of. Move that over and glue it on there. Glue it. Stick it on there. Oh, there's got this bit up the top I can use, haven't we? Let's just hold it in place and then just stencil the rest. Okay, that's a nice start. Happy with that. I'm going to hang on to that, I think. Might use it again. Because it's quite sturdy wallpaper. I think better than other normal paper because it's kind of thick, and so it's a bit more robust than some papers. Other papers might be. So that worked well. So what I would like to do now, I pulled out some of the little journal cardy bits. I don't know if you call them journal cards because they're quite small, from the Tracy Fox kit. This is another autumn kit that I'm using. There's also these little square pictures, little decorative toppers. These little ones with all the creatures and things from the kit. So I pulled one out that I'd like, or cut one out that I'd like to use as my focal point. So she's rather adorable. She's a bit Miss Tiggy Winkle. She looks a bit like Mrs. Tiggy Winkle, doesn't she? I'm just wondering if she's bigger than I was a bit worried they wouldn't be big enough, but now actually, is she too big? No, I don't think she is. I was thinking I might put some other little creatures around, but I think in my head this is smaller than I thought, so I might not need any more. I was going to add a little fairy peeping out through the leaves, and maybe a badger, because he's surrounded by leaves already, because that's the idea, is I'm going to surround her with leaves, so maybe that she will be enough as she is. We'll see. So my idea is to just have leaves all around her, all around the card, and just kind of do a leafy collage. Build it up like that. And I've got some bigger ones for the backgrounds. So let's get some more of the wallpaper ones out. what other colour do we need? So I have got them just off to the side of me here, and you can't really see what I'm using, can you? So I've got quite a big brown one here. I don't know if I need quite that many. This is a different colour, and it's didn't quite come out, so I think it got overlapped. So I'm just going to tuck it behind there. So you can see some of the stenciling through, so I'm pleased about that. Oh. Sorry about that, it's my phone. It's my new phone's got a new tone when I get a WhatsApp message, and it can get a little bit intrusive. Okay, what about this one up here? I'm going to start to put some over the edge. Maybe I need to start gluing some of these down, eh? I think I will. I think I'm just going to try and put a little bit of glue on some of these before we get a little bit too far ahead of ourselves and then can't actually glue them on. So I'm just going to, I'll grab this one. Whoops. Okay. Pop that behind here. I think the ones that are going to go over the top I'll have to do after I've glued her down, I think. Okay, let's put that one on there. So I'm just going to put a layer of the large ones behind the image. Let's get this one out of the way. Let's go there, and I can trim that piece off. This one can come out the side here. Right, I think I'm happy with the leafy background. Now I need to just build up the layers a little bit bring it over the edge. So I'll just pull her out a little bit before she sticks to anything, like she has a little bit here. I'm going to round those corners a little, just with a tiny punch. Oh, that's not glued down. Make sure everything is glued that should be. And let's just and these corners. Okay, and we'll ink around it. And I'm going to glue her down now. So I've got to make sure she tucks under here and also under here. Make sure you're straight. Mrs. T, come on. Okay, I think she's straight there. There we go. Right. Glue this one, these leaves back down now. And this one, probably should have put a few more tucked around, but I think it'll be okay. I'm going to add some more, and don't need these big ones anymore. So I might just pop that one there. Or is it covering too much up? It's a bit too big. I might put it down here. Yep. I've also punched out some leaves, smaller ones, with my punches, and even the wallpaper even punched out okay. I've got these little punch. It's like a maple leaf punch, and that I was quite surprised. I wasn't sure it would punch, but it did. So I'm going to use that too. And got this leaf that looks like it's been chewed, but it was actually supposed to be like that. And let's have this. Yeah, tucking that in there. Okay. Where did I tuck it in? It slid in somewhere, didn't it? Did it go under there? Yeah. Okay. Yes. I'm getting there. I'm liking how it's going. Now this one. Coming up here. Like that. Okay, what else have we got? Let's pull out all my littlies. What have I got here? Oh, that's just popped in under there, so that's where I'm going to put it. See if I can get to go back under there now. Where'd it go? Go under there somewhere? It did. Okay. Let's just bring it over the edge a little. Okay. I quite like it. Oh, I might just ink around the edge of this one, because I should have probably done it on some of the others, because they're quite bright. They're quite leery, some of them. Maybe just dab the yellow ones just a little bit with my dauber, just to kind of knock back that colour a bit. There we are. Okay, got a bit warm again. So cardigan's off. Right, I'll just keep going until keep adding leaves until I'm happy with the overall look of it. So I'll just keep going and speed you up. Okay, I think I've finished. I've just got a bit carried away. I'm just having so much fun. I keep seeing places I'd like to put another one and another one. But yeah, this was so much fun to do. I can highly recommend punching out or cutting out or whatever, a whole bunch of leaves and just seeing what you can do with them, because that's just a lot of fun. So yeah, this was a really fun prompt, and I've used my wallpaper in a couple of ways. I used it to stencil, which you can still see the bits of stenciling around it, so I'm glad I did that. And then I die cut and punched some leaves that kind of luckily fitted in with all the other colours that are in this journal. So I really love this, and it was just the most fun to do. Really fun. So let's see how it looks in the journal, because obviously I've gone right over onto the tab at the side, so hopefully that will look okay. And I have branded the corners and inked around it, as you can probably tell. So I'm just going to pop that in here, like that. There we are. And that's our journal card for wallpaper. So I'll just pull them out one more time so we can have a last look at the two cards I've decorated for the prompts this week. Prompt number 11, correct. Prompt number 12, wallpaper. Loads of fun. Really enjoyed myself. And I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.